September 24th, 2007. Dear Diary. Well, not much to say about little KK today. My precious little princess is my menstruating little princess. You know what that means. Nag, nag, bitch, bitch. Who needs it, am I right? I pretty much let her be, Diary. She needs her space at this time of the month. I ought to know. I have extensive experience with women, and know pretty much everything there is to know about them, including their menses. Don't believe me? Prepare to be amazed. 10 facts regarding the monthly cycle by Lorne Armstrong. Number 1. It is a monthly cycle. That means it occurs on the same day of the month, every month. If a woman's day is, for example, the 14th, she will have her period on the 14th day of every month forever. The one exception is during a leap year when the month of February is skipped altogether. Number 2. It was taught to me at a young age by my papa that PMS is a medical acronym that stands for psychotic mood swing. It is a medical condition studied by smart folks, doctors most likely, and covers the time frame that starts 1 week before the period begins and ends 1 week after it has stopped. As my papa said, for 3 whole weeks of every month, or 48 weeks out of a year, a woman should be presumed dangerous and let alone as much as possible. One Armstrong tradition is to spend that time singing karaoke at your favorite tavern nightly until it is safe to be at home. Number 3. Because the window of trouble is exact, you should know the exact day that PMS begins. At this time, it is important to let her know that you know she is PMSing, and you don't need to always be so clinical with the words you choose. Here's an example. The woman. Why is your underwear on the fucking floor 3 feet from the goddamn hamper? The man. Let me guess. You're on the rag, right? Have fun with it. She will appreciate the lighthearted nature of the conversation if you bring a bit of levity. Number 4. A woman on her period should avoid water at all costs. This means no beach, no swimming pool, and above all else, no bathing. I don't know the specifics, but I suspect coming in contact with water could cause a tear in the fabric of time. The world might be sucked into a wormhole. Weather patterns could be disrupted. I really don't know. Any one of those sound like something that will inhibit my ability to get beer, so for the love of Christ, don't do it, please. Number 5. Oh shit, hold on, Diary. I forgot the towel. The buggy neighbors are knocking. Okay, I'm back. The buggy neighbors, I should call them the Indian giver neighbors. They were here to ask for the beers I brought home earlier, after they had invited me in to drink and watch TV. Kind of rude to then request I return the 6-pack. Well, let me explain. Earlier, when I went over there to bum a cigarette, they were laughing and watching TV. Well, Hose B almost crushed my foot. I guess he didn't notice I slipped it in just before the door shut. God knows why he was slamming the door. Must have been a mistake. Anyways, I asked if I could come in and watch. You know, I think they both may be mentally challenged on account of them taking so long to respond. I mean, seriously, I was just casually trying to wedge my body through the opening in the doorway, and I said, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Can I come in and watch?" And the two of them just sat there, staring at one another for at least 30 seconds. It is like it takes forever to process a simple question like that, and then they look at each other for help. It's like that every time I ask a simple question. Can I come in? Do you have an extra smoke? Mind if I grab a beer? Anyways, eventually they answered in unison, "Fine." Once inside, I beelined for the fridge. Can't enjoy TV with friends unless you have a beer in your hand, am I right? Yes, sir. A beer in one hand and one in each front pocket. So I plopped down between them on the sofa. You know, they are actually pretty good neighbors. I'm always letting them borrow my phone, and they, in turn, don't seem to have any problem with me going into their apartment while they sleep to grab a few brewskis, smokes, and loose change they leave lying around for me. It's kind of an interesting arrangement. I never mention that I was in their apartment, but they always acknowledge it. Usually it is mentioned in a cryptic statement, something like, "Did you see anyone go in our apartment last night?" or "Did you go in our apartment last night?" I assume they're trying to keep our open door policy confidential, so I always deny I'd been there, in the event that someone who wants to exploit their easily jimmied lock happens to be listening in. Believe me, you have to be careful these days. Someone is always looking to take advantage of a situation. Well, it turns out that they were watching one of those dry news programs, the kind you imagine some real nerdo professor types probably get off on. This one, however, was actually pretty captivating. To Catch a Predator was the name, though I didn't see the predator the entire time, so I don't know if NBC was trying to bait the viewers or what. Regardless, the show was pretty funny. Let me give you the scenario. You'll see what I mean. So there's this guy in Ohio, Greenville, I think. He has a nice house, kids, well, a daughter anyways. I wasn't able to get a good look at her, but she has one of those husky smoker voices I love so much. So fucking sexy. She reminds me of my mama, alright. I'm guessing she wasn't being shown on the show due to her age. You can't do enough to protect children, is what I always say. They are the future. Anyways, so this was a news story using hidden camera footage from the house. And I'll tell you this much. If I was the father of this kid, I would have cameras everywhere too. What was happening is the daughter, I think they said she was like 14 or something, she was meeting all kinds of cool guys on the internet and having lengthy sexual conversations with them, culminating in her inviting them over to the house. Well, understandably, the men would cruise over. I'm guessing it was a short drive for the guys because, the price of gas these days. Are you with me so far? Okay, well, the hook in all this was that every time a guy would show up, the girl's father would just happen to come home and cock-block the poor innocent bastards. Outrageous, right? I mean, the fact that the men were blue-balled by the father wasn't so humorous, but you have to laugh at the timing. I mean, what are the odds? Every time one of these men would show up to shag his slutty daughter, the father happens to walk in at that very moment? Oh, I was in tears. I may have missed some of the story, but I think I got the gist of it. I was mostly working on getting some beer in me while the getting was good. Oh, that's right. There was an additional twist to the program. So the slut invites the guy over and they get the shock of their life when the father pops in, right? Well, hang on to your hat, diary. They must have filmed this all in a really bad neighborhood because when the guys would leave the house, bam, they would immediately be stopped by the police. I mean, this neighborhood was swarming with police for some reason. The area must be high crime, and the cops are just doing their beat. In such a town, anyone coming out of a house at 3 a.m. might be stopped and questioned. I get that. It was a little odd that they were all brought down to the police station just to clear their name, though. The mugshots, too, seemed a bit overkill, as did the striped inmate outfits. Having them go before a judge, that seemed uncalled for. But I'm not one to question the thin blue line, Besides, I bet they were all let go as soon as the police were informed why the men had actually been there to begin with. The father and his whore daughter were no doubt visited by the officials soon after. Now that's the show I would really like to see. After the program ended, Jose excused himself to use the restroom. Hose B had stepped out to buy some smokes down at the market on the corner. This was, of course, my cue to help myself to another beer. Well, I don't like to look a gift horse in the mouth, so I took the remaining six-pack, tucked it under my shirt, and scurried home to get it safely into my fridge. Then I stepped back outside just in time to get another smoke or two off of Hose B. It goes both ways, Why, the day I moved in, I gave each of them a cigarette. It was a Marlboro Red, I think. They shared it, as I recall. So the handful of smokes I bummed throughout the day, it's all just part of the give and take that you find amongst good neighbors. Actually, that's what made the request that I return the six-pack so out of the blue. I guarantee if I had an extra six-pack in my house, they'd be welcome to it. But no matter. I got more than enough money to go buy a 12er. I got $20 in the mail today. Apparently, Jose has a birthday this week. Yeah, His aunt sent a birthday card to my address for some reason. It wasn't terribly inconvenient to deliver it to him. After all, she had put a 20 inside the card, presumably to repay me for the trouble. Well, since Kayla's not giving me what I want today, I guess I'll be throwing myself a little party. You know, with a little panhandling, plus the 20 I earned from delivering mail, I can get 2 12-packs of the finest swill, plus a pack of generic smokes. Yeah, I guess moving to Nashville wasn't such a bad idea after all. I've never had it so good. Anywho, the one-eyed midget isn't going to thumb wrestle himself. I'll talk to you tomorrow, diary. Good night.